do? We haven't seen Hypatia anywhere out here. Oh, there she is! Quick, let's see how she's doing.
So sweet.
Well, the good news is that she's still conscious. Hey, why'd you drop her food on the floor like that? Are you okay? That's really not like you. Anyways, we can talk about this later. We better make sure she's alright first. Whoa! Wait a sec. Look at all this fruit lying around her. We can put that to good use.
Who is there? Tighnari, is that you? Huh?
It's okay. You can relax, Hypatia. Tighnari sent us here to bring you some food and water. Here, we have a letter that he asked us to give you.
I see. So, you're friends of Tighnari. I apologize. I'm grateful that you came so quickly to save me. You even brought all this fruit.
Well, actually, we didn't bring the fruit. It was already here when we arrived. We were kind of wondering about that, actually. When we found you here, there was all this fruit lying around and even some juice dripping from your lips. How did you end up like this anyway?
Oh, really? I seem to understand now. All the fruit was likely from my, neighbor. Must have come by and saw me like this.
Your neighbor? You mean there's someone else living nearby?
Oh? So you're able to see them too?
Wait, hold on a second, Traveler. You say that before we arrived, you saw some mysterious creature.
No, I actually do believe what the traveler is saying. I myself had a similar experience once before and ended up scaring my timid little neighbor here. You needn't worry. They mean you no harm. They only dragged you into the dream because they hope—
So, Hypatia, just what kind of creature is—
I'm not sure what it's called, to be honest. But I do know that they have some sort of deeper connection with the Archon. I know this because the first time I saw them was also the exact day my consciousness was able to form a connection with Ermin's soul. Even after I opened my eyes and stopped meditating, my heart was still pounding, and my mind was racing with all the knowledge that I had touched. And at that very moment, I suddenly noticed a small figure at the opening of the cave. In my curiosity, I began to walk over to the creature. They must have already been used to me living in the cave, because they didn't seem to mind me approaching them. It wasn't until I crouched down next to them that they suddenly realized that I could see them.
Oh! And then?
And then I had a dream. By the time I came to, they were nowhere to be seen. I was convinced they'd never show up again. But sure enough, I saw them nearby a few days later. And they weren't alone. I feel like they aren't as afraid of me as the first time I approached them. But I never would have expected them to save me. Yes, no doubt about that. By the way, Tighnari mentioned in his letter that you had questions for me regarding Ermin's soul. Sorry about that. Sounds like just drinking juice still isn't quite enough for my stomach.
Well, if somebody hadn't dropped the food earlier... Anyway, looks like we'll need to prepare something ourselves. Besides, Paimon's getting hungry too. Let's eat first and talk about Ermin's soul later. Alright, we're up, traveler. Today's menu will feature sweet madame and a radish veggie soup. You'll love them, Hypatia. They're our specialties after all.
Sounds good. I've never tried any dishes from other nations before.
All done. Let's use the empty box that... Oh, it smells amazing. And the box is a nice touch, too.
Are you already finished cooking? Even though everything you mentioned was in Tainari's letter, it's still hard to believe you were able to connect with Irminsul immediately after smelling Spirit-born eel for the first time. It took me nearly 3 years before I could do so. And everyone at the academia even lauded me as a genius. You should know that some researchers spent their entire lives without ever successfully connecting with Irminsul.
So why does this incense allow people to connect to Irminsul?
The ingredients used to make Spirit-born ale primarily consist of plants created by Greater Lord Rukkhadevata. These special ingredients are conducive to heightening our senses to the Dendro Archon. Since the root of the Dendro Archon's power lies within Irminsul, we can occasionally tap into her powers naturally. Anyone who can establish a connection with Irminsul in their first ever attempt must be a person of great understanding.
Makes sense. But Paimon's got a question. Why was she sensitive to the smell of those plants for such a long time?
It was primarily due to her body's unique constitution. Stimulated by the incense, she could perceive the Dendro Archon's power and experience the sensory overload. Hence the adverse reactions. Taking in any the ingredients of Spirit-born ale would cause adverse effects. Not to worry though. It appears you've already fully recovered. Technically, your body should still be sensitive to the powers of the Dendro Archon. But unless you're using intentional meditation techniques, the scent of Spirit-born ale should no longer trigger such reactions.
Whew. Well, that's a relief.
I must admit, I am quite envious of your abilities. Even if it meant suffering from pounding headaches for the rest of my life, I'd consider it worthwhile so long as I could connect with Irminsul at will.
Whoa. You're really serious about this whole thing, aren't you?
I am a researcher after all. As a member of the Ritaoist Archon at the Academia, my main area of research is the stars and their connection to the fate of living beings. Which is why I must turn to the all-knowing Irminsul for answers. If only my perception wasn't so limited. Unfortunately, I cannot guarantee that my every attempt to... I am currently in the stage of training known as Satyavada life. Many researchers in Sumeru have lost their minds while tuned with sages have said that Irminsul contains divine knowledge, and touching such knowledge without the proper preparations and abilities will only lead to one's mind caving in on itself. That's why we meditate alone. We need to ensure that our minds will be calm while minimizing the possibility of involving anyone else.
Whoa. So knowledge from Irminsul could be super dangerous. Don't you ever feel afraid of the risk, Hypatia?
Of course I do. Especially during nights that are pitch black with no moonlight. However, I've been feeling better as of late. I don't get as scared anymore knowing that I have a little neighbor living nearby. I believe that being able to see them is a sort of blessing from the Dendro Archon. But what's strangest of all is that they're clearly an envoy of the god of wisdom herself. And they have the curious power to make people dream.
What's so strange about that? It doesn't sound so out of place for a divine being, does it?
Well, it's strange because nearly nobody in Sumeru can ever dream.
Huh. Is that true?
Yes. Well, to an extent. The sages say that wisdom implies rationality. But yes, The fact that the people of Sumeru do not... I was born into a family of scholars, and I studied hard, but then, it was back then.
So...
Sorry. If you two are... There's no need to be
Now that we know Hypatia is alright, and had the chance to...
Think about it, Tainari. Refusing to join is tantamount to burying your head in the sand. I understand that you're a forest watcher, and that it's your duty to combat the effects of withering zones. But isn't it evident that such work is not a lasting solution to the problem? As Sage Kage clearly stated, your presence and guidance in Sumeru City is pivotal in finding a cure for Irminsul. How could you possibly—
Keep your emotions in check, Gulam. Let's at least listen to Tainari's reason for declining. We're here—
Sage Kage, I am truly honored that you came here in person, but I'm afraid I must still decline your invitation. I am merely a forest watcher. How could the great minds of the Haravatat have any need of someone like me?
Well, it turns out that your refusal letter had some implications on your master's reputation. He is a renowned sage of—
I see. Well, I figured that
Tainari, your master is an integral part of this effort, and now he requires your—
And what exactly does my master need of me, Sage Kage?
You'll know once you've arrived in Sumeru City, that is.
And, how long—
There's no definite answer as of now.
Do you mean to tell me that, despite coming all the way here to Gandharvaville, you still can't answer the questions I laid out in the letter to my master? If that's the case, then I'm afraid I cannot give you a definite answer either.
Tainari, but you—
So be it. Come, Gulam, we're leaving.
Tainari, what was...
It's nothing. Some people from the academia wanted me to go to Sumeru City to assist them with a project, but I had to refuse on account of all my responsibility. But all that can wait. How did things go with it?
It was quite the eventful trip, but the main thing is that she's safe and sound.
Very good. Now that the traveler has made a full recovery, there shouldn't be any reason for you to tarry here longer. I assume—
That's right! We want to meet Lesser Lord Kusanali and ask her for advice.
Sorry, I'm afraid I don't have any advice for you.
Well, do you at least know anyone?
Let me think. Oh, how about this? I'll write you a letter of introduction that you can give to a researcher I know. He's from the Amorta Darshan and is adept at gathering information. Asking him might prove worthwhile. Also, when you enter Sumeru City, you'll probably end up receiving something like this item here. I'm not sure if it will ever come in handy for you, but maybe you can give it a try.
Oh? What is...
It's called an Akasha Terminal. It's a tool produced by the Academia that utilizes the legacy of Greater Lord Rukkhadevata. Needless to say, this device and its usage fall under the Academia's expertise, so I'll leave it to them.
Next up, Sumeru City! That's right! Tainari, we have something important to say to Kala—
Yes, she's doing much better. After being confined to her bed all this time, I thought a little walk would do her some good. Last I saw, she knew you two would be leaving soon, so she must have wanted to see you off.
Thanks, Tainari. All right.
Farewell, and good luck to you both.
to. Never mind. I guess I should just wish you two a thanks for waiting here just to see us off, Kale. We're headed. Don't worry about me. I can take care of myself. My condition won't be getting in the way of my duties. I want to be a forest ranger after all. It's up to me and the others to protect the rainforest here. And, I'm sorry. I should have told you both about my condition when we first met. I just wanted you two to treat me as a normal friend. But I guess now I understand that the most important thing is for friends to be genuine with one another. There's no need to apologize, Kale. We should be thanking you for trusting us enough to be your friends and sharing your past with us. We're probably still gonna worry about— Thank you. That means I'll— Oh? What? It's my recipe for pita pockets. I told you that I'd give you a copy, remember? Yay! Thanks, Kale. I hope that whenever you eat them, you'll both well then. Sumeru City! Oh, did you see that? When those people had—
One moment, please, you two. It appears this is your first time visiting Sumeru City.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Because there's currently no information on either of you in the Akasha. But no need to worry, that won't prevent you from entering the city. In fact, perhaps you two have heard of the Akasha before. After centuries of tireless research on the Akasha, as long as you are within Sumeru's borders, you may use an Akasha terminal to connect directly to the Akasha and access any knowledge you need. I should mention that due to technical limitations, the operation of Akasha terminals will be much smoother and more effective in large cities, such as Sumeru.
Oh, so this is the thing that Tainari was—
You two are quite fortunate. Until recently, it was standard practice to only issue Akasha terminals to outlanders who spent an extended amount of time in Sumeru. However, this policy was recently changed, and now all travelers are issued one upon arrival. Here are your Akasha terminals. See? To activate it, simply hold it in your hand and say the following phrase.
Oh, says this little doodad with— May the mighty God— Whoa! Just now, something clicked, and Paimon suddenly knew how to use this thing. It seems all we need to do is concentrate on what we want to know.
Exactly. And with that, let me officially welcome you both to Sumeru City. May the wisdom of the Dendro Archon always be your guide.
Okay, now that we're in— 500 years ago, the sages found a newly born deity from within some scorched ruins. The deity now resides in the sanctuary of Suristana. Seems pretty similar to what Kale— Okay, next, let's concentrate on asking how to meet her. Oh, come on! Ugh, Paimon's brain is exhausted. Oh, smart idea. But what are you going to ask it? Uh-oh. Paimon— You— Huh. Could it be because we're Outlanders? Well, he's from Sumeru, and even has a position— Let's see. Tainari wrote an address on the letter's envelope. Howie?
Yes, that's me. Can I help?
Great! You see, Tainari said...
What? Please, there's no need to say anything, really. Sure, I admit that the article I published last month wasn't my best work, and maybe the data didn't produce the most convincing result.
Here, this is a letter.
Oh, let me see. Ah! Ooh, what a relief. You two nearly scared the life out of me. So you two just have some questions for me? Seems even Tainari acknowledges my innate ability for procuring information. So, what is it you two would like to know?
We want to meet with Lesser Lord Kusanali. Do you know a way we can do that?
You mean you want to meet the Dendro Archon herself? This isn't exactly my area of expertise, but let me see what I can find in the Akasha. Sorry, the Akasha didn't respond to my query.
What? You too? But what about your abilities for getting information and all that? Paimon was sure you'd be able to access more info than we did.
Well, as I said, this isn't my area of expertise. I am but a lowly researcher, so the Akasha doesn't see a need for me to know more about the Dendro Archon. All I know is that ever since Lesser Lord Kusanali returned to Sumeru, she's never left the Sanctuary of Sorasthana or made a public appearance.
Huh. Didn't expect her to be such a mysterious figure.
The Dendro Archon is somewhat of a recluse. Perhaps she just doesn't want to entertain visitors, which would explain the lack of information in the Akasha.
Aw, but then what can we do?
No need to worry just yet. I'm only hypothesizing here. You could certainly try asking around and see if anyone else has ideas. And besides, you two should consider the bright side of things. Not being able to see Lesser Lord Kusanali. In this world, there will always be information you cannot obtain from the Akasha, and things you can never accomplish. Knowing when to yield is a form of wisdom. Take me, for example. It's a miracle if my brain cells can spit out one paper every 3 years. But Tainari? That guy can publish 3 papers in just a single year.
Okay. Thanks for your advice.
Don't mention it. If you two ever want information about things like who's been promoted within the academia or relations between the 6 great sages, come find me. Hey, come on! This is a survival skill at the academia.
Oh, Paimon's expectations were pretty low, but this is so low it's like digging holes in the dirt. So what do we do now? Even if we want to talk to someone, we don't know anybody. Huh? Like who? Oh, you're right! Catherine! The Adventurers Guild has its own intel network. Let's hurry and find her.
Astra Abyssosk. Hello, Traveler and Paimon.
Catherine, we need your help with something.
Understood. The Adventurers Guild is always ready to serve you. With what do you require assistance?
We want to meet with Lesser Lord Kusanali. Do you know a way we can do...
You two wish to meet with Sumeru's Archon. Understood. Please wait. I apologize, but I am unable to call up any relevant information in the Akasha.
Aww, another dead end. Well, if Catherine can't help us, then we really don't know anyone else to ask now.
Please do not worry. I may know of someone who can help you two. In Sumeru, the Adventurers Guild does not serve as the vanguard of information. Rather, there are numerous active mercenary groups collectively known as the Eremites. They take on various contracts and work all across Sumeru, so they naturally accrue intelligence.
An Eremite brigade called the Corps of 30 is in charge of Sumeru City's defenses. Not only are they the oldest brigade, but they are responsible for managing and coordinating the affairs of all other mercenary brigades.
Corps of 30? What a weird name.
Supposedly, they are named as such because their ranks numbered 30 at their inception. Asfand, an advisor with the Corps of 30, maintains good relations with the Adventurers Guild. Though he's already retired, he and his words carry great weight within mercenary circles. If you'd like to get in contact with him, you can find him at the Corps of 30's headquarters, the Citadel of Rexar. You're welcome. I wish you two the best of luck. We look forward to your exploits in Sumeru.
Alright, off to the Citadel of Rexar we go!
Welcome. The Adventurers Guild told me to expect you to.
It's nice to meet you, Asfand. We'd like to ask...
I see. So, Catherine's the one who sent you this way. Ha! It's true that the Eremites' network is vast, but even I can't help you meet the Dendro Archon.
Wait, seriously? That's it?
Afraid so. The Eremites aren't terribly religious, so we don't know much about divinities. As far as the Akasha goes, we can access even less than you. We originally came from the desert. The gods there died off long ago. Since those days, we've used our own two hands to carve out a living. We don't... It isn't just us, though. If you ask me, I think most in Sumeru aren't interested in Lesser Lord Kusanali.
Oh? Why's that?
Just take the Academia, for example. They're the ones who truly rule Sumeru. Although they believe in gods, most of them only care for the late Greater Lord Rugadavada. In their eyes, she was the one who founded Sumeru and gifted us with the Akasha. Lesser Lord Kusanali just happened to inherit her legacy. Because of the Academia's influence, most citizens are more familiar with Greater Lord Rugadavada and hold her in greater esteem. Not to mention that Lesser Lord Kusanali never makes an appearance, and the Academia never announces anything about her. As far as the people of Sumeru are concerned, she's just a god that exists. And that's all.
Really? Aw. After hearing all of that, Paimon sort of feels bad for Lesser Lord Kusanali.
Ha! But who knows? We're all just guessing when it comes down to it. Besides, I'm sure the God of Wisdom doesn't worry about her reputation among people like us.
Alright, well, thanks for the info, Asfand.
No problem. Always happy to help.
Seems Asfand was right about most people's attitudes here. Not only are they not interested in the Dendro Archon, they even say stuff like, if the Akasha doesn't think I should know, then I don't need to know about it. We've been asking for information non-stop ever since we got to Sumeru. But the harder we try, the more helpless everything seems. Isn't there at least one person in this entire city who cares about Lesser Lord Kusanali?
Oh, you two are interested in Lesser Lord Kusanali?
Huh? Who are you?
From the sound of it, two are Outlanders who recently arrived here. You've been asking around for information. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Ngerjain, one of Lesser Lord Kusanali's faithful followers.
Whoa, really? Then do you know how we can meet with her?
I'm afraid I can't help you with that. But your conversation earlier did happen to remind me of a legend about the Dendro Archon. Sure. It goes like this. Long, long ago, there was a man who heard a prophecy. It predicted that a great calamity was about to befall him. Panicked by what he heard, the man sought out the Dendro Archon in hopes that she would bless him with the wisdom to help him escape his predicament. The man journeyed across deserts and through rainforests and experienced tribulations of every kind. However, he still couldn't find any trace of the Dendro Archon. In despair, he thought, alas, the Archon has abandoned me. He then had...
Okay.
And then, the calamity came. But to his own surprise, the man felt somehow emboldened by the trials of his journey. At that moment, a bird perched upon his shoulder. This bird was, in fact, an avatar of the Dendro Archon. She said, "O Archon Seeker, do you now understand? She and her wisdom have long been found by you. Along your journey, we were in every flower and blade of grass, every ray of sparkling sun, and every breath of dancing wind. So long as you continue to think and ponder, we'll be wherever you go."
Yeah, thanks for the story. Paimon feels all warm and fuzzy inside after that.
In a way. It seems like this story is also one of the Dendro Archon's avatars.
Ngerjain, since you worship Lesser Lord Kusanali, can you tell us anything else?
Of course. So did you two know that, I'm terribly sorry, but it seems something's come up now. Let's chat another day.
Hey, wait! What the heck just happened? It looks like they're searching for someone. Ngerjain was acting super nervous just now. You think they're looking for her? This stinks! We finally managed to find a... Molly! We can't let them get in the way now. Let's see if we can get rid of them. Then we can catch up with Ngerjain.
Hey, have you two seen a brown-haired girl wearing a purple top and a long blue dress? We're looking for her.
Did she have bandages wrapped around her wrists?
Yes, that's her. Did you see which direction she went?
Yeah, she went that way.
Quick, after her!
That should keep him busy for a while. Let's hurry and find Ngerjain. There you are, Ngerjain. We thought you might have been long gone by now.
Oh, it's you two. Oh, you startled me there.
You can relax now. We threw those people looking for you off the trail.
Really? Thank you so much. Unfortunately, I believe there's still more of them out there looking for me. Uh-oh, looks like there's some coming this way.
Huh? More of them? Then what are we standing here for?
No, wait, my body isn't in the best shape. Okay, sounds good. There's a tavern on...
All right, let's move out.
it. Oh, they shouldn't be able to find us now. Wait! Stand down, Dia!
My lady, who are these two?
They're travelers that I met on the street just a moment ago. They happened to notice that you were all searching for me, so they helped me hide.
I see. In that case, you two should scram. There's nothing here for you.
Wait a sec! Who the heck are you? And why are you shooing us away?
I'm Miss Dunyarzad's bodyguard, here to see that she returns home safe and sound. My lady, let's get going. You've been...
And if I
It'd be easier for the both of us if you cooperated.
Hey! Dunyarzad!
Stay out of this. Sorry, my lady. Even though I'm your bodyguard, your parents are my employers. I have to answer to them.
How much?
Wait, what?
How much more do I have to pay you to become your employer? So you never listen to my...
My lady, this isn't about Mora. I don't know what you think of us Eremites, but let me say this. I like Mora, but I'll never go against my principles. That's why I'm here looking for you. Sure, it's an order from my employer, but my conscience was also telling me it's the right thing to do. And knowing your health, carelessly running around like this is gonna hurt ya. For the sake of those who love you, don't be stubborn.
No, you're wrong. I'm aware of my limits, and I know what I'm doing. Honestly, the only people being stubborn right now are my parents. And they know perfectly well that it makes no difference if I'm at home or not. They still won't accept reality. And every time I bring this up, they just change the subject. Dia, you've been living with us a long time already. This should be old news to you. Dia, I know it hasn't been easy for Mother and Father, and I'm grateful for everything they've done for me because she saved me. The love I have for her is the same I have for my parents. This is my life and my last chance. So I want to do something meaningful.
My lady, are you sure what you're doing now is meaningful?
Yes, I'm sure. At least, it is to me.
Fine. I won't ask you to return home, but let me make something very clear. I'm only doing this because I respect your determination, not because I agree with you.
Thank you, Dia. Sorry for being so rude just now. My nerves were acting up. And I even brought up your payment in such an offensive way.
Don't worry about it, my lady. I did say that I like Mora. Besides, that's our next topic of conversation. Today's little excursion caused such a ruckus that every single bodyguard at the estate was deployed. Since this definitely won't be your last escapade, here's a little tip. You should at least make it look like your room and things are still in order. So, I'll let you hire me, my lady. This way, everyone wins. As for the pay, let's say half of what your father pays me. We can settle the bill when we return to the estate.
Okay, deal.
Yay! Looks like they've reached an understanding.
I'm fine, really. I just feel a little tired now that things have calmed down.
My lady, stop trying to look tough. We're already in a tavern, so let's rest up and grab some grub.
I'm sorry for worrying you two. If you don't mind, I'd like for you to join us.
Sure! After you rest up, we want to hear more about Lesser Lord Kusanali.
Ha! Well, if it isn't Dia. Haven't seen you in nearly half a year. Word on the street is that you're a bodyguard for the Homayani family now. Ha! Don't you find that kind of work boring?
Nah, you get used to it. How about a menu over here?
You got it, huh? Isn't this little Miss Homayani herself? We don't get to serve personages like you very often. We'll be sure to prepare our very best.
Thank you, sir, but there's no need. I don't have a lot of mora on me, and I really ought to save as much as I can. But please bring these to the food you have. They're my new friends, so I want to be a good host for them.
Yeah, we're already super grateful for everything you told us about Lesser Lord Kusanali.
How about our charcoal-baked Agelenach cakes? They're our signature snack, and they run cheap. Look, other customers over there are eating some now.
They look kind of burnt and dry. Paimon will pass. Hey, come on! Paimon has personal preferences too, you know. Dunyarzad, we asked a lot of people when we first arrived, and almost nobody was interested in Lesser Lord Kusanali. So, what made you want to follow her?
Well, remember when you asked me if I knew how to meet the Archon? Even though I don't know how, I think I've actually seen her before.
Huh? Really?
Yes, it was when I was a child. At the time, my illness had kept me bedridden for the better part of a year. I was stuck inside and couldn't make any friends, and my parents did their best to find treatments for me. But even then, the Akasha didn't have any helpful information. My younger self no longer had any hopes or dreams. One flare-up was so bad that I was in a semi-conscious state for several days. Then one night, I woke up alone in my room. I was terrified. My body was paralyzed. Even if I cried, there was no sound. At that moment, an ethereal voice spoke in my mind.
Dunyarzad, don't be scared. You don't have to cry. Who are you? How do I explain this? You might not be able to understand, but actually, I know everything about you. Really? Of course. I know that you're scared of thunder, that you hate taking medicine every morning, and that you love counting the petals on your mom's skirt. Wow, you really do know everything. Dunyarzad, is there anything you want? Want? Not really. I can't go anywhere or do anything. Huh? But aren't you a child? All children have wishes. Tell me what you want, and maybe I can make it happen. But, can you make my illness go away? Oh. I'm sorry. But I'm not powerful enough to do that right now. Then, can you be my friend?
After that, the voice said, "Okay, I'll be your friend." Although my body was suffering during those days, that voice encouraged me and told me many wondrous things. Beyond my window was the flourishing Sumeru city. Beyond the city was a lush rainforest. And beyond that was the wall of Samiel, deserts, and all of Teyvat. Once I finally made it through that bout of illness, I couldn't hear that voice anymore. But I know that that voice wasn't a figment of my imagination. Before that, I had never heard of Teyvat. Yes, for sure. If it weren't for that voice, I would have never grown curious about the outside world, nor would I have learned how to read and enjoy so many books. That voice sparked a desire for wisdom. It had to have been the Archon. I've been hoping for a chance to repay her kindness. In fact, I was running around today to help prepare the Sub-Zerus festival for her.
What's the Sub-Zerus festival?
It's Lesser Lord Kusanali's birthday, which was the day that she was found by the sages. It's actually an old holiday that originally celebrated Greater Lord Rukkhadabhata's birthday. When she passed away, the holiday eventually became a celebration. I heard everyone was overjoyed when they welcomed her back to Sumeru. But because of the Academia's influence, people have gradually lost interest in the festival. The Academia actively participates in Sumeru's many holidays dedicated to Greater Lord Rukkhadevata. But when it comes to the Sub-Zero's festival, forget any funding. They practically act like it doesn't exist. Maybe they see Lesser Lord Kusanali's birth as confirmation of Greater Lord Rukkhadevata's death, so they're reluctant to celebrate it.
Aw, but that's awful.
It is. It's sure the Greater...
Just remember that we're still out in public. Don't get too carried away now.
I know that people over by the Grand Bazaar still hold the Sub-Zero's festival to this day. But I hadn't met any of them before, so I was never able to contribute. I mean, there who also follows Lesser Lord. Like my savings, I
Does this happen to the one who sends flowers?
Yes, that's her.
I saw her leaving the other day with a nervous look on her face. It seemed like she was hiding something in her arms. Did you give her something?
Yes. Initially, I didn't have much more prepared, so I had Nilu sell one of my skirts. I've agreed with Nilu to meet up at the Grand Bazaar today, and see how things are coming along.
Sure. That's quite the trip, though.
No, that would be too...
You might as well just accept the lift. If I let you walk, who knows how long it'll take us. And if anything happens to you, then I'd really never hear the end of it from your father.
But of course. Nilu will be thrilled to hear there are more people interested in Lesser Lord Kusanali. Sorry I'm late.
Oh, Dunyarzad. Uh-oh. But if Dia's here, that means you got caught.
You could say that, but everything worked out. She's on our side now.
Not completely.
Oh, meet the
So you're followers from another land? That's wonderful. You... By the way, Dunyarzad.
You're very welcome. It's the only thing I could do.
Probably? But don't sweat it. We've already finished renovating the stage. Come on, I'll show you.
Not bad.
The stairs were nothing. A little while ago, we discovered that the tree above the stage had a huge chunk ready to fall off. Master's bear was at work. We reported it to the Academia many times. Never sent anyone to deal with it. We didn't want anything bad happening, so we were going to cancel all the stage performances.
I'll probably better ask.
It's like us. Probably think it would be best theater closed down completely. Can't let that happen, though. Not only would everyone involved in the theater go hungry, but then we wouldn't be able to hold the Sub-Zero's festival anymore. Thank the Danger Archon, Zad. She gave us. We hired someone to patch up the tree and stage up Nico. The stage to be even pretty time. And wait for you to see it.
Wait to see it. You've been practicing so long already. It's almost time for your reality.
Nilu!
They're most of. I only told them about Greater Lord and Lesser Lord so far.
Okay, then I'll tell you two about how this holiday came to be. According to legend, the Sabzerus festival was originally the Goddess of Flowers' birthday celebration for the Greater Lord. A long, long time ago, on one of Greater Lord Rukkhadevata's birthdays, her friends threw her a celebratory banquet. Some of the gods got drunk. One started playing music, and Greater Lord started singing, so the Goddess of Flowers began to dance. As she danced upon the grass, countless beautiful padisaras began to bloom wherever she stepped. Those brilliant purple flowers became her. Of course they did. When people mention the gods, they always think of the Archon War. But Sumeru's gods also had happy times. Although they aren't around anymore, they're preserved in our tradition of dance. This outfit I'm wearing is apparently based on how the Goddess of Flowers looked. Though we're just tiny people compared to the divine, we still have to do our best to make sure that the birthday girl feels loved on her special day.
Nilu, you of all people will definitely be able to convey our well wishes to the Dendro Archon. I also noticed that you went the extra mile and scattered padisaras around the stage.
They symbolize the Goddess of Flowers, after all. It's just a shame that all the real padisaras went extinct after her death.
Yeah. The Greater Lord brought forth padisaras in memory of the Goddess of Flowers, but she ultimately could never truly replicate that beautiful purple.
Thinking about the Goddess of Flowers dance makes me wish I could have seen it. If my stage were anything like that, I'd be thrilled if I had just 2 real padisaras on the stage. So, Traveler and Paimon, what do you think? Interested in the Sabzerus festival? Will you two be coming?
All of Lord Kusanali's followers will be there for her birthday. It'll be a good opportunity for you to learn more about her.
Ooh, Paimon thinks that's a great idea! Hey, come on! There's nothing wrong with enjoying a festival. Besides, it's Lesser Lord Kusanali's birthday. She'll be happy to have more people who are celebrating it.
So how about we all attend the Sabzerus festival together?
Junior Zod, everyone at the Grand Bazaar.
In that case, we'll take...
It's an excellent publication. They have many outstanding journalists, and the editor-in-chief is always open to new ideas. But most importantly, they pick the writers